Did you know I lost an award?
Oh, you always lose that one.
Do you guys think if you dream about sleeping, you get twice as much rest? Well, this and many other things are things you think about when you're out running segments at Burrito League or through hiking or doing an FKT, but I thought I would bring that up because that's one of my latest musings. More to come on future episodes, but just so much is happening in the world right now, especially in our little niche of trail running, through hiking, FKTs. We have more people attempting the calendar year border to border triple crown. It's getting longer and longer. So is that the calendar year border to border triple crown? So would it be CYB2BTC? All right. People are out doing that. We have track marathon pros entering the ultra running space, and cross country worlds just happened. And as you know, I'm a fan of all these fringe sports, niche sports, and mainstream sports, so we try to hit on them all. Whether you like them or not, stick around because it's fun, good coverage with a lot of opinions mixed in. That's what the show's all about. I wanted to be a place where all these different communities can commingle and have interests, and we can be more than just a singular focus in a singular niche. So let's dive into things. Today I have on the trail correspondent. Today I have on the Jeffrey award-winning correspondent of the year, Allison Mercer, to break down what happened in sports this past weekend. It would be like technically the second weekend of the year, but basically the first big one. We had Bandera, we had Cross Country Worlds, we had the Houston Marathon, and we just get into who deserves more recognition, who gets too much recognition, all kinds of fun stuff. And I find out that I lost an award mid-show. So that's fun. That's worth sticking around. But while you're here, if you want to take a second and help me out, I'm trying to do so much here. I'm trying to make a movie about the Appalachian Trail record. And oh my God, it is stressing me out trying to figure out everything from money to release schedule to working with people. I mean, I started through hiking and FKTs and doing self-supported adventures and doing a number of races with no crew or pacers as well, because I am good solo. And that is kind of how it is. And now I've got people to work with, and we're learning as we go. But man, if you want to help, the easy way for free is subscribe to the podcast and give us a 5-star rating. That'll help. And if you want to go above and beyond and you got money to burn, you can join on Patreon, patreon.com/freeoutside, or Substack. I promise I will put one out by Friday. You can hold me to that. Or give us a review on Apple Podcast and let's read one of them, because I appreciate you guys leaving these reviews and I need to be better about reading them and honor all your hard work. Okay, here we go. This one is from Gunking Around. Jeffisodes leveled up in 2025. I love this podcast. Great mix of trail running tips, interviews with great trail loving guests, as well as hitting a sweet spot between that not so defined boundary between trail running and through hiking. Jeff just does the thing. He loves to talk about the thing, but mostly he's out there doing it. Inspiring, educative, and funny as all get out. The Jeffisodes take the cake. I'm caught between voting for Jeff Browning or Jeff Galloway for the best of Jeffs. So thanks for leaving that review. Why don't we read one more, because this is fun. Here we go. From Brady K, smiley face. Love to real life stories and adventures that Jeff shares. I especially like his openness about going to therapy and struggles with mental health and earning a living while doing what he loves. Well, life is stressful too, and I had therapy this morning, so, that's part of it. But if you want to write a review and have a typo in it, I will read it with that typo. So let's get into the episode. We have a lot to discuss, and if you ever have guests you want me to have on, I have a really fun one coming Friday that I think you're all going to love. And until then, you can reach out, Jeff at Free Outside. I'm very reachable. I'm on the social medias, Instagram, I put stuff up on TikTok sometimes, but jeff@freeoutside.com for an email. And let's get this thing rolling. Here is Allison Mercer. We are live once again with our correspondent on everything, and I was just informed that I lost an award. What did I lose again?
Trail Weirdo with Ultra Sign Up. You know, once again, as per our previous podcast, there are too many awards, especially if we're not winning them.
Yeah, exactly. And if they happened, maybe it's like when you're supposed to say Happy New Year. If it's in the first week of the year, just get them all out of the way. If everyone wants to have an award, you have a 1 week window. But now we're like 2 weeks in. We've got races for 2026 going. I don't need to be told I'm a loser from last year. Still, I'm ready for this year.
Right. Like, aren't we starting a new leaf? It's a fresh start. And now you're just bringing up 2025? Like, we're over that. Come on.
Totally. Yeah, I did, per our last conversation about awards stretching too far, I waited to post on the Jeffries just because, play into my own issues with waiting 2 weeks in to announce who won. And I did get a funny comment on Influencer of the Year. The Max Joliffe memes account commented that Max wasn't an influencer, and all I had to do was reply, well, he's influencing you to make this comment. Like, obviously.
He's influenced you to make memes. I mean, enough said.
Yeah, mic drop. So, we have a ton of big news. I'm still sweaty off Burrito League because I'm getting addicted, and who would have thought my personality would fall right into this trap of running stupid segments, but here we are.
You're just picking up where you left off last year of, stupid AT segments, stupid Strava segments. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, I think I just get attached to something and I can't leave it alone. And today, while running loops, I was like, maybe next year I'll move to Phoenix for January and win the granddaddy of them all, that segment.
I mean, but then you have to announce it like 2 weeks after, because heaven forbid we're on time with anything we discuss.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we've got pros already running big races. We've got world championships that have already happened. We've got to move on with 2026. So how were World Cross Country Championships?
Well, first of all, I don't appreciate being snubbed for a Jeffy for best correspondent. I mean, who did a better job than me covering sports in 2025? Come on.
I mean, Finn started off hot, but then he really petered out. So you're right. Yeah, okay. Virtual award is in the email.
Honorable mentions. Just like, I forget which one. Maybe it was Free Trail or Ultra Run. I don't know. One of them had an honorable mention. I can't even keep up. But
I know.
I just had to note that.
The honorable mentions drove me crazy. It was like, we already went 10 deep on awards, and now we're going to add another 10 just to get a little more reposting clout from people. But oh well. We already hit on that a lot.
But I like that I Run Far even had an editorial comment in their This Week in Running saying about who they would have voted for, which was Courtney Olson and Charlie Lawrence, which I appreciate because, once again, let's give some love for some road ultra people. Not biased or anything.
Yeah, and records that have stood for so long, too. I think that's the biggest thing of winning a race this year means you just beat everyone who did it this year, but records are like, these are decades long records. And I don't know, I think the one thing that bothered me the most in 2025, among many things, was just not covering these records that have lasted 30 years. And if we're giving people like Ann Trayson the coverage for completing 100 miles in the 6-day record, we should probably mention that her record stood until this year. Like, she's using a walker to do 100 miles, and that's how amazing she was. And if her record's just getting broken, the person who did it's probably pretty amazing too. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, give some respect. I mean, I do appreciate that Ann Flowers was voted number 2 Ultra Runner of the Year, but let's talk about the other person that broke an Ann Trayson record, and that's Courtney Olson.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Ann Trayson is pretty incredible. I think a lot of current people have come into the sport maybe in the last 5 years or so, especially since COVID, and don't realize how dominant she was, and even Scott Jurek on the other side. But both of them like were untouchable for the better part of a decade.
So should they start your girl Ann Trayson account? Like,
Yeah.
why not?
You have free time, right?
Oh yeah, so much free time. Let's go.
Okay. Job applications, email them to Jeff at I'm never gonna read your email.com, and we'll screen your applications to have a meme account for Ann Trayson. I think it's only fair though. She won more Westerns than Scott, probably than pretty much anyone else combined. She won like 14 in a row or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's only right that she gets her due just like Scott.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Scott's like front and center. Let's give Ann Trayson a sponsorship for something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Icy Hot, maybe? I don't know. So let's go back to World Cross Country. How was it like out there? The obstacles were pretty fun to watch. I mean, kind of contrived, but that's like kind of what Florida's all about. It had like a very Florida feel to it.
Yeah, and I think that's just the goal of all of these cross-country races is to give a local flavor, if you will. But it definitely reminded me of like a putt-putt course, miniature golf, where all they needed was like the clown or like a fan or something that, gave it that true, feel.
If they had a wheel with a hole that they had to run through, so they had to like time it perfectly.
Totally. That would have been amazing. But yeah, I mean, between the roller coaster ramp, the beach, the mud, where they had the water boy or the swamp boat right behind it. I mean, the alligator logs. It was wild, everything that they had to give you that Florida feel. Even the blue dye water that I was like, is everyone going to turn into a Smurf by like lap 4 or 5?
People
But it
fell
was
in
really
that
cool.
too. People fell in the water. A couple people fell, I think.
Oh, yeah. I was just wondering if they did it on purpose just to cool off because it got up to like the upper 70s by the time you had the senior men and women's race, let alone the open race that wasn't till like 3 p.m. Eastern. I can only imagine, A, how destroyed the course was, but B, how hot it was. At least you had some shade, but I would say majority was out in the sun.
Yeah, it looked hot, but it also looked really fun. Even the little hurdles that were just like alligators were so funny. I mean, it was such a putt-putt feel, but that made it fun. It's like something to talk about versus like Nike Cross, where it was just running up and down short little hills at Glendevere Golf Course, where I learned to golf for $5. This was like a lot more fun with actual things that were happening on each loop.
Totally. And it was filled with people. I would say there was over 10,000 people there.
Whoa.
And all the athletes said that there wasn't a place where there wasn't someone just screaming and just going crazy when all the athletes came by, which is awesome because, we wonder, is the sport fading? Is it popular? But last weekend definitely proved that cross country is in.
Yeah, and even watching on Peacock, it really showed that even if the announcer, the commentator just like keeps stuff rolling, whether they're focusing on 10th place or first place, just like keeps the dead air out of it where you just feel like the energy is dead, then they do a good job. We're not looking for perfection, and I think the sport is far from perfection, but the last 2 meets that I've watched, the energy of commentating has been way better than in the past, it feels like, too. I think people want to care. We just got to give them a better product to care about, and I think we're on our way to doing that.
Totally. How was the broadcast? I heard it was a little iffy given the camera shots, given because of the logs and the water and like all these other things. They couldn't have your typical golf cart that usually is ahead of the lead runner, so you can get that continuous coverage. So you had that drone, which at sometimes made me a little dizzy because I watched some of the coverage, but for the most part, I was out just kind of getting a feel for how the runners were doing.
Yeah, so like Nike Cross was really cool because it had the golf carts next to them and you could just like see and talk about one shot for 20, 30 seconds. And this one, it bounced around a lot more, it felt like it was a lot more static shots and drone shots and then they had some issues with updating the leaderboard. Sometimes it was off, especially in the women's race where it was like a tie and came down to there was a little issue figuring out who won for a little bit, which was unfortunate, but I don't know. Overall, it hit the level of engaging and entertaining enough that I put off my long run until it was over. So I think if that's the judge, it worked for me. Yeah, I think that's all we're shooting for. And I think it was more fun to have weirder obstacles. It would have been fun to have like someone embedded like Aravaipa does in the group to start the race and just like have a 360 cam with the leaders for the first like half mile that's sprinting and then they fade out like a live stream operator.
I was thinking you were going to say a live alligator.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that would have been interesting.
And a python, anaconda, whatever else is out there in Florida, mosquitoes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And there were a couple like live snakes there. So I can only imagine maybe that encouraged the athletes to run faster to see a snake on the course.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was fun too, because it was really competitive, especially on the women's side. It felt like extremely competitive. Like Uganda was right there. And I think it was a tie and came down to the 4th place runner. It was, it was fun.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Agnes Nagetich won it by 40 seconds or so. So you knew she was going to win the race, but in terms of the team competition, it really came down to the wire. But she looked so effortless, like she was going for like a Sunday stroll or Saturday stroll. Sorry, it was on Saturday. And her arm swing and everything. And she said she didn't even feel the heat, which is wild to me given how hot it was, but it just shows she must have done her sauna training.
Yeah. I wish we could find out a way to do this in ultra running where it wasn't just about who won. Like you had to watch about 20 deep to know who won the team competition. And that was really fun because it was like coming down to like 10 meters separated the two that would really close it out. And we talked about it before on like counting heads and stuff. That made so much more of the field relevant that it was really fun versus like someone wins by, quite a ways and it doesn't really matter because it's down to the team competition still. So you're still engaged. And that was a way more fun way to watch something where you root or you care about who wins, but that's not the only thing you care about. Whereas a lot of races just trail off once the first few people finish.
Oh, totally. And in both races, you really wanted to know, like, were the U.S. men and women going to crack the top 10 individually? And also, there was potential if they had an AJ to get on the podium. So it was hard not to root and like hope that they were going to get up there. And to see Edna Kurgat get into the top 10 was pretty cool. And Parker Wolf almost getting that was just so impressive. And I mean, the amount of like USA cheers were really fun. And obviously I'm representing still from the weekend and just, I wish that cross country world champs, we didn't have to wait till 2029, but now we do after having it for like consecutive years. It's like, oh, now we have to wait.
Yeah. I want to talk about this too, because it's been talked about adding it to the Olympics and it would be a winter Olympic sport, right? That would be really interesting.
Oh, totally. I mean, it would definitely, I wonder who it would give an advantage to, especially if you're running in ice and snow and all those kind of conditions and how you train for it. Like, some people do like warm weather training camps. Do you just go up to like northern Colorado or like Alaska to train in those kind of conditions? It would be interesting to see if it does become a winter sport, but it would be so fun to watch and would give a different aspect and still incorporate running into both Olympics.
Yeah. And you think about it like running, we have track and field, which is like up to the 10,000 meters, like pure speed when you eliminate most other factors. And then you throw in cross country. And if the weather is awful, even better. Like that just makes it more fun. And it's like a lot of sports, if you don't know what's going to happen on a given day, or like a football game, if it's snowing, it'd be so fun if it's in the Winter Olympics and they're deciding like what length of spikes to wear on the course or things like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Or you would have to get spikes on your spikes or just get extra screws in your spikes. Like if that would be, I guess, legal to do to like kind of tamper with the shoe, but you would need to do something if it's like a sheet of ice. Oh, you'd probably like slide down a mountain and slide down the hills or whatever the course was. It would add definitely an added dimension to the race itself.
Yeah, they'd be wearing like skin tight suits, like skimo racers or something, or speed skaters even. And yeah, it'd be so fun. I think it just introduced this other element that kind of humanizes running more. Like none of us can imagine running as fast as Usain Bolt, but we can all imagine going for a run when the weather sucks, and watching the best in the world have to race in that would be, I think that would be really fun.
Right. And if they had rough days, you would just be like, they're just like us, they're not always like breaking records or just doing these absurd times. Like if they had a rough day or they slipped and fell on the ice, they'd be like, just like us, like scraped knees and everything else. Definitely
Yeah.
humanize them.
Like 40-mile-an-hour wind, so the winner is like a 40-minute 10K. That would be so funny. Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
it would be fabulous.
I don't know how we get this going, but skimo got added to the Olympics, so I think anything can happen.
Totally. I mean, we just have to petition to the IOC and really like double down on the cross country aspect.
All right, so we're hiring that position as well. We need someone to commit full time to petitioning the IOC, so we're fine.
Look at us creating jobs, in 2026.
Yeah, creating jobs in the niche space. The Free Outside Podcast can really afford an employee or multiple. The Free Outside Podcast is brought to you by Janji, JANJI.com. I have a race coming up that's going to be cold. Probably. I mean, I can't see the future and it's in, a few weeks, but I'm going to need to stay warm. So the main thing I'm going to take the Vortex gloves, because they have wind covers that you can put over your fingers and the normal gloves. So you get the ability to use a phone screen when you have those fingers out, or you put that wind shell on, and they stay a little bit warmer. Use code FREEOUTSIDE at checkout for 10% off and tell them I sent you. So trail running has started too. We have 2 Olympians winning races outright recently. So that has been exciting. What do you think of this shift or getting some new talent on the trails?
I think it's good that it brings more attention to trail running and just gives that added dimension. I think first with Shelby Houlihan winning the 26K, I was reading her post and it seems like she was kind of down on 2025, even though she made teams and came back. I still think, yes, she served a ban and all that, but it just seems like she just lost the joy. So hopefully she's finding joy in trail running and, getting a new lease on running. Cause I see it both ways where, yes, she served a ban and, there's still some skepticism, but also like she served her time. Like, how much are you going to hold that over her head and just let the girl run?
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of ironic Burrito League's going to at the same time, but I thought that would be the perfect event.
Right. I mean, I don't know where she is currently training, but surely there's a Burrito League wherever she is. There's, I think, like up to 74 now, and they're in even Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Like, damn, Jamil, you're just going global with this.
I know. I'm really interested to see what it becomes, because there's got to be more shoes to drop. It's not just going to be siloed events, different places, and we've seen this whole conference thing, and hopefully we can maintain the community feel. But because that's the fun of it, that's the draw, that's the reason that your community in Atlanta and mine in Bozeman put together these things and got local places to sponsor them. But we'll see. It's really cool right now. I just don't want to lose that local feel. If if like Chipotle's doing it, it wouldn't have the same feel as if it's Mr. Burrito here.
Right? Like, I just wonder what will February bring? Like, will they carry it on and they'll just be like, back by popular demand, we're going to have the Burrito League Part 2, or maybe we'll go on to like something different, like a sandwich or um sushi. I don't know. I mean, food possibilities are endless, especially when it comes to ultra runners.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, people are going to experience what thru hikers experience all the time of like post Burrito League depression. When you don't have a segment to go run back and forth on, February 1st is going to be a hard day. Check in with your runners when we get to that point, I think.
Yeah, and I would think February, with it being a shorter month, would be, a better opportunity because you really have to maximize the days.
Yeah. Yeah. What could we do for February? Is there an F food, French food February? I don't know.
French fries? I don't know.
French fry February. Every town has French fries. Yeah, I'm really curious because they're 24/7 on the Mountain Outpost channel live streaming stuff. So we'll see what this becomes. Is there going to be like a burrito TV channel now?
Hey, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Jamil. Anything is possible. The permanent drone. He has his GoPro. I mean, who knows what he'll think of. He did make the Jam Cam very famous in Cocodona, so.
Yeah, he has a way. All right, on to our next star that's just influenced the trail running space. We have Molly Seidel won the 50K at Bandera outright. So we have, and then I think she's going for Black Canyon, right? She has eyes set on Black Canyon still. What do you think of this new development?
I mean, 4 hours on that technical terrain just shows that maybe she does have the chops for ultras, and to officially call herself an ultra runner makes me really excited to see literally a month from now what she'll do at Black Canyon. And I'm sure it gives her confidence after DNFing New York that this is possible. And maybe a golden ticket isn't out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, it is a super stacked field, but a lot of the entrants have golden tickets already or may not want it. I don't know. I can't imagine the top of the field not wanting a golden ticket, but we've seen people decline golden tickets before. So yeah, I mean, we will see that live stream and see what she can do, but I was very impressed with the time. And also, I really give a lot of credit to Mountain Outpost to including what the men's course record was, because she crushed the women's course record, but it was interesting to see how close she was to the overall record. And she had about 20 minutes, 30 minutes on that. Or she was slow, like 30 minutes slower than that. But I do appreciate the context, being a stat nerd, of where she fell overall. But it's also hard because the 50K isn't as competitive as the 100K has been, given the 100K used to be a golden ticket race. But it was still interesting to see where she fell in that.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to influence, like, for maybe the past decade or so, it's been this big thing on getting an OTQ so you can run in the trials, and like some of those runners may be looking to trail or something where maybe they can be for closer to the top rather than and also ran in the trials? Do you think we're going to see something like that from a shift? Because it's usually like maybe running college or dabble in pros and then maybe move to the marathon, but maybe it's more of a jump up to trail instead of that marathon distance.
I think that we're, 2 years till the Olympics, that people have time to do kind of whatever they want to do and kind of have that free reign and find the love and just kind of mix it up instead of just being so burnt out with training for the next championship or this or that, and just kind of having a renewed love, where we see that with Shelby and also with Molly with the issues she's had, mental health issues, and, really like returning to running after having the injuries. So maybe trail running can be more of a confidence booster. And like we said, the community and, the atmosphere of trail running kind of gives you that positive feeling where if you're in a bit of a rut or just need that renewed spirit, it's the place to go. And we see it with both Shelby and Molly doing that.
And Courtney going the other way too, is like, let's try something else, shake it up. We've done the same thing for a decade. I think, yeah, it seems like the more coverage, the bigger the sport has gotten, the more likely burnout is. And so people are trying different things. Maybe that's an FKT or a marathon or an ultra. And across all of running in general, it seems like that's happening. Even with Des going for the 50K record a few years ago, it's like people are just looking for the new exciting thing rather than the same race schedule year after year.
Yeah, and we see that Des is doing Marathon des Sables, so it'll be interesting to see how her and Magda perform. And also, like, going back to what you said about trail runners going to the roads, we saw that in CIM, not only with Courtney, but Riley Brady, Amanda Basham, and a few other trail runners that participated. And even in Houston, you saw Hillary Allen in the field. So, and Callum Neff, who is going to Black Canyon again. So you see a lot of overlap, and it's cool. It shows you that, if you're strong in the trails, sometimes it does translate to the roads and vice versa. I mean, there's something about, doing hill sprints and just durability and just the mental fortitude that it takes for both.
Yeah. And it's just such a different atmosphere and community in both of them that I think it's fun to jump between them because it's so easy to be just like siloed and not know anything. Even like thru hikers or FKTs or ultra runners or road or trail, it's like you just get stuck in your community and you don't really know about this whole other world that exists. And it's kind of fun to dabble in both and also learn things from both. A lot of things, science currently coming into the running world is from like cycling and stuff too. It's like this whole broad world of endurance sports could learn a lot and do a lot better by paying attention to each other too, I think.
Yeah. Are there any like crossovers you want to see in 2026?
That is a good question. No, I don't think so.
You want people to stay in their lane. Like,
yeah,
no.
just stay
All
in
right,
your
we've
lane,
had our
please.
quota of people going back and forth. We're good.
No, I love when Jim goes after these FKTs that are multi-hours, kind of what he usually does. But when he picks a big one and like spends time there, like rim to rim to rim was big, or even Zach Miller, I think those are really fun because they're kind of solo projects and you have to obsess about them. And I just think that that's really fun. Anyone that is top tier and goes after rim to rim to rim, I get fascinated by because like Adam Peterman did it too, but it just shows how good Jim is. And I think a little bit like all these sports stars in our life from like Tom Brady to LeBron and stuff, it's like, it helps you appreciate how good that person is. Like Jim's time is so good that people are given an A day and not coming too close to it. So anything like that, whether it's a marathoner crossing over or anyone like that, just to put things in context more. I think FKTs can be scary or like difficult, or you don't want to put in a bunch of time because you have races and stuff. But when people do put in time, it either comes to like a really cool result or you get context for how good that FKT is. So that's more what I want to see more of, rather than it feels like a lot of pros kind of like off the couch in FKT and use their great fitness to get one, rather than obsessing about one or going for one that they don't know if they can get. And those are the fun stories when it comes down to the wire. Maybe you don't get it, but you still have like a really cool story of putting yourself out there. Our next sponsor is Sawyer. What do I love about Sawyer? Well, they have filters. That's obvious. They're known for those in the thru hiking world. They also have permethrin and picaridin. It's going to be tick season before you know it, and you might as well start treating your clothing soon. You can get this stuff at Walmart, Amazon, anywhere online. Basically, they're big. They're everywhere. And you know what? I treated my stuff with permethrin before the Appalachian Trail, and I never had a problem with ticks. So check them out. Treat your stuff for ticks. Be respectful. of Lyme disease because one of my best friends has it and it can wreak havoc for years. So check out Sawyer.
Yeah, and when it really like comes down to the wire, and even if you come up short, at least you put forth an effort, and it kind of probably humbles the athlete, but just shows how stout these records are. And there's a reason why it still stands after so many years.
Yeah. Yeah, even like the incline in Manitou Springs is like a fun one. It's way shorter, but you have to put in so much time to do it. And it's like 2,000 feet over a mile. Like it's a stupid hard route.
Right. And it's not like all those stairs are perfectly aligned and
No.
the weather is perfect all the time. And it's not like it's, only a few people that are also doing it at the same time. There's so many different aspects of that. And I mean, you got the same thing with the Grand Canyon with how popular it is. And if you have some donkeys or horses or whatever could be out there, you never know.
Yeah, the more factors, the better. Like Jim spent a lot of time out there and then timed his run so that he wouldn't have to have such an issue with the mules and stuff. But
Mules.
yeah, it's
I
fun.
knew it was some animal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And I love what Andrew Drummond does on the East Coast. With Run the Whites, he puts like a bounty on like a Strava segment or a route, a classic route, and whoever has the fastest time by the end of it gets like a gift card or something. And I think in 2026, I'm going back to the community feel, and it doesn't have to be where you live, but you should have to like go somewhere and spend a month at the Grand Canyon to go after your big goal. Like I love the immersement goals where it takes more than just showing up and being born with more talent than people. To actually put your time in is the fun part.
Yes, it doesn't matter. We want to see these training records. We want to see the logs of what you really put in, and it has to be like a minimum of being at a certain place.
Other big news, they announced the 100K championships are not in India, so that's probably good.
Oh my gosh, my prayers were answered. Now I just have to make the team, but very excited to go after that. And not doing India was like a bummer, but now I have something to look forward to and talk about goals and what your 2026 looks like. Hopefully it involves being in Spain. And also it's funny, like I feel like a million different news things broke yesterday, Monday. They also announced a potential St. Louis for the Olympic marathon trials for 2028.
Oh,
That city was not on my list of hosts, but hey, anything's possible.
yeah, you probably finish under the arch, maybe.
That would be pretty iconic, but I'm also like, where is pretty scenic around and safe around St. Louis? But hey, maybe Nelly will be cheering for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd never thought of St. Louis as a big running city, but maybe.
Yeah, so now they have Phoenix and St. Louis in the short list. Hopefully more cities come out. I know a few bid on it. So, I'm biased. I hope it's more in the South so we can drive to it and spectate like we did for Orlando and Atlanta. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to drive to St. Louis.
Yeah, that's a tough drive. I've done it from both sides of the country, actually. So we never talk about your training and goals. So what does it take to get on the 100K championship team? What's the route?
Just consistency, I would say. Day in, day out. It's pretty boring, but you just make it a routine. And honestly, having so many friends and a strong community in Atlanta to be able to do the amount of miles I do, it really helps. For 2026, now that we're talking about goals and resolutions, I definitely need to strength train more and be more consistent on that. I started 2025 with the same goal, but it kind of petered off, especially when the miles started picking up. But that's definitely something I noticed, especially what I lacked towards the end of the year is the strength and just having that to help prevent injuries and really be successful on the road. So that's the goal, but I'm very excited to get back to longer distances. It was fun to do shorter distances last year, but I feel like my bread and butter is more ultra specific.
And how do you plan out? Because I'm sure you need like a fast time to be selected, or is there a championship? How do you plan your season so that you have the best looking resume to be on the team?
There is a championship, and so if the top two automatically get a spot on the team, and then it's the fastest times after that. And luckily, my time from 2024 in the World Championship is a qualifier. So if something happens at the championship, I can fall back on that. But hopefully, I lower that time. So it will be very exciting, and it's interesting that it's September. Worlds is in September versus how it usually is in December. So at least it's a little earlier. So if I want to do something in November and December, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. However, training in the months of July and August might be very difficult, but at least if it's hot, I will be very much heat acclimated.
Yeah, totally. And was Courtney Olson would be on the team with her time, something like that too?
Oh, I can't imagine anyone else going under 7 hours in 100K. So she is a surefire automatic team qualifier. So yeah, that's exciting for her. And she also just OTQ'd in Houston. So you want to talk about someone with range, like it's wild. And everything from comrades to 100K American record to a 2:35 marathon, which is averaging under 6-minute pace, is absolutely incredible.
How is she with rocks? Can we get her on a golden ticket course?
Right. Or even like something that isn't as technical, like a javelina. Like it would be really interesting to see what she could do at that race.
Or JFK, if she could like survive the AT section. Yeah.
She would just like get on the towpath and just crush it.
Who are other runners across the sport you'd like to see in a certain event? Do you have any?
I would like to see Grant Fisher doing the half marathon. I guess more of the getting back to like the road and track atmosphere, seeing what people can do in longer distances, especially now that like at Houston, we saw so many men going under an hour for the half, where in years past, we really didn't. So it'll be really interesting to see what the men's times goes down to. And if, the American record is broken again after Connor Mance did it last year. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's so many possibilities, like I said, with the Olympics not till 2028, to see more athletes dabble in the roads to see what they can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see a lot more of that. Like just see what pure fitness, it's easier to compare on like a marathon rather than these course specific ultras, is even if they're not winning or an OTQ, it'd be just fun to see what kind of fitness some of these athletes have at the front of these races, like even like a Hayden Hawks doing a marathon or something. I just am curious how they would perform.
Totally. Or even like a Killian. Like, what could Killian do in a marathon? I mean, obviously he's much better, as we can see in these projects, like his 48 states and Alps and everything else, and going back to Western. But, we've seen him do a few 10Ks, but what could he really do in like a road marathon? It would be really interesting to see. Or even like Francesco Pupi, like what could he do in a marathon?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or Dylan Bowman in a 5K. That'd be interesting.
I mean, anything is possible.
Me versus Eric Jenkins in a 5K.
That's really what we want to see. I mean, with him at Black Canyon doing the commentary, that will be must-see TV. And to see what he is like, you want to talk about, switching over from, road track to ultras, to see his feel and his perspective of everything. I mean, obviously, you really help set him up for it with the AT coverage. But what he'll think about, especially these times, and also Black Canyons is known for a lot of blow ups. So if it's really hot or people take advantage of the downhill too much and then are just like dying, like what happens? And to think that, halfway they're killing it, but they still have 30 more miles to go.
Yeah. And I don't think Eric will have seen what happens in an ultra. Like people die like really hard. There's puking, there's falls, there's way different stuff than on a track or a cross country course. It's going to be fun. I think he's going to have his mind blown with what is involved in these things and how brutal it is out there.
Yeah, it will definitely be interesting, just like in a lot of the races last year with the field so deep. Will people go out hard out of the gate and kind of maybe pay for it? Or will they be a little bit more conservative and no one really wants to take the lead, and then it starts getting more competitive and it starts, stringing out as the day goes on?
Yeah, I just hope we get another Will Murray, like someone no one's heard of and the broadcast doesn't even know who they are. That really, I love that about the sport, because it's sort of like your results or how you're doing is all that really matters. And if people don't know who you are, like you're still up there. Like they can't take the golden ticket away from you. It's only results that matter. It's not like a resume thing. So that kind of thing is really fun.
An added bonus if you're from the East Coast. So definitely have to add that little caveat to it.
Yeah, but he moved west, so.
How could you, Will? How could you? We were all riding on you. We're all counting on you. And you have to do that. We went through enough with Tara, and now we have to deal with Will doing the same. He should get the Jeffy for Trader of the Year for going from the East Coast to the West Coast.
I'll let him know. I think I'm running with his coach on Thursday, so I'll talk to him about that if he influenced that.
Yeah, Trader of the Year. Done. Not to be confused
Wow.
with the Trader whatever reality TV show. Maybe he should go on that after what he's done to the East Coast.
Yeah, we do need some reality TV shows and less of like the road to Western states. We need more like day-to-day life of some of these people. Like, what does Jim do in the hours he's not running? No clue, but I want to know.
Right? Like, I'm sure it's fascinating. I'm sure he does so much and has so many outside hobbies. Like, maybe he cooks and gardens and whatever, he could be a man of many talents.
Yeah, or even as one of these Olympians or bigger names from the road world comes into trail running, it'd be really fun to follow that, because I'm sure they have questions like, do I count carbs per hour? What should I be aiming at? What's a good heart rate? Like, they won't know anything about a multi-hour race, and it would be really humanizing and good for the whole community to be like, okay, I had those questions and I was embarrassed to ask. If they have those entering the sport, then it's okay to wonder.
Right? Like I said before, they're just like us, They may not know what to take or the shoes to wear or socks or, proper
Salt,
warm-ups,
yeah.
They're all just like us, or, throwaway clothes before a race if it's really cold.
Yeah. How about Marathon de Sable? We just get like a reality show around like the whole scenario, living out there, what it's like. That'd be pretty good.
Or like the prep for it. Like you just like wear
Yeah.
a bunch of clothes or just put you in the desert somewhere, just how you train and how you react to it.
Yeah. We need to learn. I think that's where maybe cross country or trail running or marathon running, track and field, all that in general is where it's missing, is we don't get that layer of someone's life. Like, what are they like outside of the performance? And that might make it easier to become a fan of somebody, like even knowing that Jim is into cars. If you're a car person, maybe you're a bigger fan of him or something like that. Is we're kind of missing these added bonuses or what their actual hobbies are. I mean, people only know me for Tiger clothing once again today, but yeah, we're just like missing some of those deeper things about people.
Right. And there's just so much. Maybe you could do a like Pimp My Ride with Walmsley if he like is into cars, or someone else. You just have that fun and bring out that personality, because let's be honest, most runners are very introverted, very awkward. So maybe find a hobby of theirs or a passion, and it really just like brings out the best in them and, their other side that you may not know. And instead of like we talked about, these other fake storylines, like everyone has a camera, everyone has a media budget, like do something like that.
Yeah, you're onto something. Even like Zach Miller bakes like donuts and stuff too. You could do an interview while he's baking. Like these true interviews one-on-one are always so bad. We need like an activity in between, or painting with Eric Jenkins or something like that, where you like do their hobby with them and then you talk to them. I think that's the most fun. And that's why I love meeting people and backpacking or through hiking with them, is because you're doing something active and you're kind of passively chatting. You learn way more that way than just like a one-on-one date or something over coffee where you get nothing.
Or maybe like with Zach Miller, you do like a cribs with his what is it called? Like the shack.
His bus
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
Like that would be so cool. And also like he's building a house right now, like the process of that, or just how he got into that and have the knowledge to know how to build a house and the patience. Like, let's see some side of that. Like they're all good. Like we all know they train hard, and like watching Flow Track does like these all access where they literally are doing track workouts with pros. It's like, yeah, they're all running super fast around a track, but let's see them build a house. Let's see them. Maybe they can give some strategies on playing video games, like whatever it is, like let's see that side.
Yeah. Let's like build a Lego thing with somebody and chat about that.
So fun. Like who doesn't love Legos?
Yeah, or the night before or a couple nights before Western or something in Olympic Valley, instead of a pre-race interview, you have a competition where all the pros have to put together a Lego thing.
Or a puzzle.
A puzzle. Yeah, anything like that. I just think, yeah, we're missing a lot of the human interest stories on what makes these people human. Like we know they're fast. We can see their Strava. We don't have to ask if they're thinking they're going to win. We don't need to cover that in the media. Everyone wants to win and thinks they're going to win. But like, what else do they do? Do they write? Like Caleb Olson is big on Substack, or do they love cars or a TV show or music? Like Sage Candide,
right?
plays the guitar. Like all these things that we're like missing out on that I think would make the sport more fun. And we're kind of getting too serious about all this stuff and doing a pre-race graphic 6 months ahead of time.
Yeah, or go to a candy store with Tara and like she gives a play-by-play, or she tastes candy from around the world and you see like what's her favorite. Like something fun like that where it's just like lighthearted and like, you never know what she's going to say, or she can say, "Oh yeah, when I was here or when I was there," and you get something different, like you said, than the same old story of, "Oh, how did this race feel?" or "What was your training like?" You can see it. We know, like, "Oh, do you want to win? What would winning mean to you?" Just something different.
Yeah, we're really missing the different aspect of things. All right, what other stuff do we have coming up in the future in the trail running space, or how do we make it great again?
I mean, aren't we already, by this coverage that we're doing and highlighting races and coming up with ideas and creating jobs? Like, I'm excited for 2026. I mean, I'm trying to think of what other races are coming up. I'm sure there's more. Mount Fuji. I know, like we said, Black Canyon in a month, which is also wild. There's also a lot of marathons coming up. Soon, I'm sure they'll announce the Boston field and all the spring races. I mean, January is already halfway over. I mean, this year is going to fly by before we know it.
Yeah. All right. One more topic. I've heard a lot of rumblings on athletes sort of copying the David Roach approach. The Roach approach. Wow. He should have taglined that. For like videoing a build to Western. And some other athletes are going to do that this year. What do you think of that? Because just like we just talked about, I think it's going to get oversaturated and really boring really quickly.
I think you can't take yourself too serious with it. Maybe make sure you have a parody like a David Poach to give it some added levity so that you're not like putting so much pressure in it and you feel like you have to show a certain side. And like I said, give you something different than what you're doing in your off period. Like, how are you cross training, strength training, diet, rest, like some added side. But it's also interesting because I'm sure some athletes don't want to give away all their trade secrets. It's just like, how are you making it different than every other podcast, YouTube, Substack, stream, TikTok? Like, do something different. Think outside the box. Maybe you're wearing a different outfit. Maybe you're checking out different fits for it. So have some fun with it.
Yeah. And I think highlighting those ancillary things to your life, like everyone's doing fairly similar training for the same event, like at least in the same realm. But things like even Max Jolie blew up because he like skateboarded and did different things, or maybe you run commute to do things, or often if I have to print something, I'll jog over to the library. Like doing these little different things and highlighting them, I think is the key to being different and standing out. Like what makes you different? Because we don't just care about your 2-minute intervals or your mile repeats like we got to watch a lot with David Roach. Our other sponsor of the show is Garage Grown Gear, garagegrowngear.com. Anything you need for the outdoors, whether you're through hiking or a windy day on the track or a post-track snack or a months-long backpacking trip, you can find it at Garage Grown Gear. Check them out.
Totally. And I mean, people are probably learning from, what David did well and what he might have, fell short of. So, but you have to give David credit for putting it all out there and seeing what would happen and learning from it like he did in turning around and doing Leadville.
Mm-hmm. I think the one that I would love to watch is like someone who's on a golden ticket chase. Like maybe I think Hayden needs a golden ticket, and you just like, maybe it's Black Canyon, maybe that works or doesn't work. And then it's like, get to video the crew meeting or the coaches meeting where it's like, what worked, what didn't work, what race are we going to do next? How are we going to change things? Like that would be really interesting because it's like a build on getting to an end goal, but you have to earn your way into that end goal. And like, what's the process when you want to get to Western, but you have to win a race to get there and also be healthy for Western at the same time? I think something where there's more layers than just watch me train for 6 months is sort of what I would be more into.
Totally. And how it compares, like to look at the video, and especially if you don't get it at Black Canyon and you're going to, another race, a canyon or somewhere else, and to see the differences of how you're successful at one versus not. Like, look at Joe Stringbean McConaughey. Like, he tried year after year for golden tickets. Brian Montgomery, so many. Leah Yingling, that one year where I feel like she did like 5 different races and finally got it. Like, where, how was she successful and what made that race different than all others? And what did she learn? And just building from that, like the year process. Like, you don't have to turn around things, weekly. It's just like, all right, what was the year like? Or maybe you do it by race.
Yeah, even Ryan Montgomery last year, he did Black Canyon, Tarawera, Chianti, and then Canyons, and he got in Canyons because the golden ticket rolled down. Like that would have been a crazy story on he's just flying all over the globe, chasing a golden ticket, and finally gets the payoff at the last possible race he can. That kind of thing I think is really cool, and lost a lot. Or even Abby Hall, winner of Western States, didn't even get in because but she did because of a pregnancy deferral and the ticket rolled down. Like those are the cool stories that we miss out on for, I don't know, our pre-race coverage starting too far ahead of time.
And there's not a lot of post-race coverage. Like I notice a lot of times there's all these pre-race, all these interviews, everyone's interviewing the same person, but then you're like, all right, let me hear about what happened after the race. Both, maybe people that came up short don't want to talk, but the people that do, and sometimes you get, 30 interviews of the winner, but like, I want to see the reactions, like what people thought, talk to their crew, just see that aspect of what happened and what were like the game changers of the race. And also like along the lines of Ryan, even with all that, he still had a pretty successful Western states. So it's like maybe doing all those races helped him prep for that. So it's just interesting to see, did it really, like, was that part of the training?
Yeah. And getting deeper into like 5th place, like what happened? What would you change? What were you talking about when you were in the lead halfway, or things like that? Not just how does it feel? Do you feel disappointed? What's next? Like the same questions also no one cares about. We can just look up what's next. We don't need to ask everyone what's next.
And let's be honest, and I'm sure you feel the same way, is can't you just enjoy the moment? Like, why do you have to automatically 5 seconds after the race ends have to look on to the next thing? Like, can't you just savor the moment, especially if you won the race or got second, like got a golden ticket? Like, enjoy the moment. Broke a course record, had a PR, like enjoy the moment where you're just feeling pressure that you have to go on to the next. Like, wait a week, and then you can say, all right, so how are you going to capitalize on this win? Or, how are you going to carry this momentum? Like, let these people enjoy the moment. And, what was the defining moment? And also, your crew may know, hey, they were in a lot better spirits this race than last race, and maybe having that positive attitude. Or we forgot their gels the first race and we totally screwed them. And this time we remember gels. So, you're getting that added side where an athlete probably won't remember anything because they're just in the zone, but your crew is a little bit more in tune to what's going on.
Yeah, we need embedded reporters. So just in the crews, that would be cool.
Yeah, everyone has a camera on them for the crew, just like in a GoPro, like a headlamp or something just going, or how like people were mic'd up, just hearing the audio of what's going on during these aid station crew stops.
Oh, mic'd up. That's a thing from other sports that we need to bring into this one. That would be so fun. Even like at cross country, that would have been great just to hear if there's anything going on between the competitors.
Totally. Or just like the post-race press conferences. Like some of the races have that pre-race presser, but like the post-race, and to see what comes out of that. Maybe you'll get some of those viral quotes from after the race.
And just think how people would act if there's like 50 microphones in their face like there are at some of the bigger sports press conferences. It'd be so fun to hear what they even said.
Or even have like the coaches up there, and so they can talk about the athletes before. Would be so fun.
Yeah, they talk about like the training block or how they knew it would be a good day or something like that. Or even some of the coaches, it's really fun when they talk about like the strategy was it was going to be this hot, so we adjusted like fluid intake or sodium and stuff like that. That would be fascinating to hear about how things change and are so much more fluid than just use the same recipe for every race, which I think some people think actually happens out there.
Yeah, because doing the same thing over and over again always produces better results.
Yeah, exactly. There's like an insanity quote about that is attributed to Einstein. Yeah.
But yeah, so here we are changing, running media as we know it and having so many ideas. So now people can, take them and run with them, pun intended.
Yep, exactly. We're not going to do it. So Jeffrey winner, correspondent of the year, Allison Mercer here. Did we miss any other Jeffreys we should have given out this year?
I'll have to think about it. Maybe I'll circle back in Q2 and think about what we should have done in 2025, and then I'll let you know.
Circle back, follow up, all the buzzwords that people haven't communicated in a month at this time of the year. So they're finally following up, circling back. I need to actually send a couple of those emails too.
All right. Well, then I'll let you go, but have a great day, and we'll circle back in a week or so.
Yeah. After Burrito League wraps up, we'll dissect the results.
Oh, I can't wait.
Our last sponsor is CS Coffee, csinstant.coffee. Premium instant freeze-dried coffee. Check them out. Thank you for listening to the show. Leave a review, subscribe, like on YouTube, go subscribe on YouTube, play it for your dog, cat, get those watch time hours up, and send me an email and just tell me you love it and I'm awesome because I'm stressed and positive vibes are just so welcome. There's a Strava Club free outside. There's probably Burrito Leagues where you're enjoying stuff and just root each other on, and we'll keep this baby clicking forward. Really fun guests coming up. I mean, they're all fun, but this is a new one. I think it's his first podcast he's ever done, but he is so funny. Coming up on Friday. All right, with that, stay elite, my friends.